Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. And today I'm coming at you guys with my take on Machinas. Based off of what the cards that I have right now, there's variants that you can play this deck that are really fun. I think because it has so much energy with Orcus, with Trains, with Affinitrax, you know, with ABCs, you know, it's just kind of... It's a really good machine archetype in general, and its generic applicability just really gives it that flex spot where you don't have to play pure if you don't want to. But this deck is basically more or less pure. A few techs are in here, but I really do like the deck. It's actually pretty cool. The amount of raw power that you get just out of the main deck without needing access to your extra deck is actually a really strong attribute for this deck to have. And the fact that it's not really that bad with playing through multiple interruptions, considering just being able to put huge bodies on the field and just attack over the negates is one of the easiest and simplest ways you can do it. Chain blocking and get out your Citadel to just swing over, you know, cards like Arclight, like Appaloosa, you know, things of that nature. Even Borlo Savage, depending on whether or not they're playing around Lightning Storm, summoning him in defense. You know, it's just really easy to just get rid of those cards, you know, just playing the deck if you open obviously a playable hand. Machinas are a really cool deck. They have a unique grind game. They can play out of their graveyard to an extent, and they do make some pretty beefy boards and can actually lock your opponent completely out of the game turn one if they don't have the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase my list, you guys. I'll show you guys a couple combos, and hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to get some duels with this deck. And this, along with the current list of Herald of Perfection that I'm going to be showcasing you guys, maybe that list or the previous one. I'm just trying to get some duels, but I want them to be in real life because if you guys follow the channel, you know my streams aren't always as optimal. So real life duels are definitely going to be better than online duels for me, but let's go ahead and get into the profile, you guys. So we're starting off with 3 copies of Citadel. Card is actually incredible, you guys. Honestly, just the fact that the card just constantly recurs itself from the graveyard, even if its effect was lackluster, it's a free 3k body, you guys, and you can chain block with this card when you're triggering multiple spell speed 1 effects simultaneously. This could be chain link 1 no matter what, however you order it, and you could no matter what get this card out so that you could just attack over a threat. It has 3,000 attack, you guys. It easily summons itself. Citadel is actually incredible. Raigeki is not even a bad effect. Honestly, it's still really strong, especially when you're able to utilize it on your opponent's turn and multiple times to the progression of a duel. You can nuke your opponent's field who knows how many times, as long as you keep looping your Citadel. It's crazy. Card's really strong. Then we're playing 3 copies of Aerator. Wish it was just during either player's turn in general, but the card's actually really strong as well. Just giving you that basically another main phase on your opponent's turn. Being able to just build your tempo up, even if you open pretty weak and you basically had just 1 Machina, and you had, for example, just like the Overdrive and just like 1 random Machina, you could end up really snowballing out of control just off of a weak board because of cards like Aerator and Citadel triggering on your opponent's turn. You just end up getting to build your board on your opponent's turn. Really strong card. Obviously, the newer way that Machinas are playing now is by destroying themselves, which they have effects that actually trigger. Some cards actually generate advantage from being destroyed, like the Citadel generates advantage from cards being destroyed, and then your continuous spell gets advantage. You know, there's just a really cool play style that they kind of gave to the Machinas. It's like somewhat of a mechanic, but not really. It's just a different way to get your boss monsters out. 3 copies of Irradiator. This card is something you probably want to open up every single turn, every single duel, like in your opening hand, like every single time. This card's really strong, you guys. It's like, it's a part of some really crazy combos. I don't have this card, but these Peacekeepers should actually be Metal Crunch. Metal Crunch the man. Whether it's Metal Crunch or Metal Cruncher, that card is legit, you guys. He is super duper strong. Very powerful card. Even in Orcus, redeployment's like full combo for them because of this card. If you're playing it in Orcus, you know, it's understandable. It searches out your Scrap Recycler. Card's just nuts, you guys. It's really powerful. Like, honestly, like, it's so good. Redeployment can be full combo even off of this without burning your normal summon, because you could just use Redeployment to search your Megaform and your Radiator. Use a Radiator, pitch Megaform, summon out the Metal Crunch from your deck. Metal Crunch can search out 3 of whatever you need, and with the same name, and you just add it, and that's just full. That could be full combo for you. Even if you're playing Orcus, you just reveal 3 scraps, and then you normal for turn Recycler with an extra body on field. It's really strong. Like, Metal Crunch is the man, you guys. Really can't wait for this card to actually not be a proxy. Like, I want to get 3 of it from Eternity Code. 2 copies of Possessed Storage. This card, it's good. it just doesn't make sense why the monster that gets summoned can't activate its effects this turn. I guess so that you don't get two ways to reborn monsters to trigger their effect, because a Radiator does that too. But it's possessed storage, and he helps you to make rank 4s as well. So it's a good card, and being able to play through back rows or potentially bait them is always a nice thing to have searchable in your main deck. Fortress is also the man. Honestly, the card, just to take it down, it could require multiple resources to deal with. If you equip him with the gear frame, it could be even more problematic. The card is just actually powerful, and you can even loop your Mega Form with it. Speaking of, I played 2 copies of Mega Form. You could honestly play 3, but this card is not good by itself opening. Whereas cards like a Radiator, all you just need is just a random Machina in your hand. Air Raider, random Machine in your hand. You know, Fortress, just any machine in your hand. You know, same thing with Possessed Storage is not as good opening by itself because you need a grave setup. With Metal Crunch, it's fine. You could just normally it without tributing. It becomes 18. You can still get its effect. So it's kind of like, it's understandable if you want to play 3 Megaforms, but at the same time, it's not really good to draw if your hand was already bad and you have a Megaform in it. It doesn't help it at all. But if your hand is good and you have a Megaform, it absolutely makes it incredible. For my starter cards that are normal summons, I basically play 3 copies of Gear Frame. Gear Frame... I mean, dude, this deck's pretty old, so there's really no need to explain Gear Frame. He's like, you know, like if it was on summon in general, that would be more nice because you could special summon him potentially. It would be really nice if he wasn't once per turn and if he was summoned like Stratos, but can't ask for more than that in a card, right? 3 copies of Scrap Recycler. Scrap Recycler is incredible, you guys. So basically, you could call this potentially Scrap Machinas. The reason why Scrap Recycler is in this list, even though you could just play without it, is there's a really like a good reason for playing this card. One, it can bait Nibiru by itself. How can it bait Nibiru? Scrap Recycler, if you play it the way I'm playing it, it's a self-contained 1-card combo that gets you to Wyvern and gets you Golem and gets another Scrap Recycler out. At that point, not only do you already have a grave set up potentially for a future play, you have monsters who can be converted into an Appaloosa. So if your opponent has Nibiru in their hand, they have to preemptively use it, and all you did was normal summon Scrap Recycler, and you did that whole play. You can go dang near, not necessarily full combo, but you can go a really nice fat combo off of a Recycler, and it can bait Nibiru off of just your normal summon, and you could still just discard Aerator, do your Possessed Storage plays, you know, bring out Citadel. You could still do all that. You could even summon, excuse me, True King of all Chlamydia. Really strong card because Metal Crunch is the man. So Scrap Recycler is insane. Another thing, it baits Ash Blossom. You want Scrap Recycler to get Impermed or Ash Blossom, especially Ash, so that you can resolve redeployment. Because when you normal summon this, your opponent could think, oh, he might just be playing Orcus, you know, which is more of, I think that's the mindset people would have more likely because Orcus is a bit more powerful than Machinas and it's more popular. So when you see a Scrap, they're like, dang, that's their 1-card combo. They're going to get out Lib. They're going to get out Galatea. You know, they're just going to do so much crazy stuff. I need to ask that Recycler. You know, Recycler is actually crazy, you guys. There's something else that you could do if you're playing this with Monster Reborn and... what's that card called? World Legacy Succession, because it has 1,000 or less attack. You can normal summon it, use this effect to dump, link it into All Mirage, reborn it, use this effect to dump, and then go into your Scrap Wyvern play. And when you go into your Scrap Wyvern, you could just use, like, if you open Succession and Reborn, that's crazy. But just having a Reborn spell plus Recycler, if you play All Mirage in your extra deck, you could get 2 dumps off Recycler before you even go into your Wyvern play. This card is just really good, you guys, and it has an effect that you might actually be able to use in this deck, putting back your gear frames. I'm not saying it's going to come up, but you could potentially actually use the second effect. This is a proxy Scrap Golem that I do not have. I want to showcase the profile, even though I don't have all the cards that I need. I'm still going to showcase the profile, and I'm playing 1 O-line. This is a brick. You can't really do anything with it by itself. Drawing it in your opening hand isn't going to help you too much, but by playing this 1 brick, it makes Scrap Recycler be a self-contained 1-card combo that also does not require for you to commit other cards from your hand, so that if you get Nibiru, you lost 2 to 3 cards instead of just the 1 Recycler, if it makes sense. Your normal summon can bait Nibiru. That's really strong, you guys. So just by playing this 1 brick that you could potentially draw and it could be dead, you don't have to burn discard to summon a Radiator. You don't have to burn any of your extenders yet preemptively. You can just go Scrap Recycler, pitch this, make your Wyvern, do your combo, they Nibiru you, then you can just pitch your, you know, activate deployment, a Radiator, Possess Storage, Metal Cruncher, you name it. The combos you can do, just a Radiator, off Mega Form to Metal Crunch through this, just the shenanigans, right? But that's just really why It's so important, I feel. Not necessarily mandatory, but it's really nice to have the O-line in your deck. Because Scrap Recycler is a one-card combo now by itself, which is really, really important. And the Golem is another card that could be a brick too. But it's absolutely worth it in the long run. You don't mind drawing 1 or 2 bricks because this deck doesn't need 5 cards to go off. Naturally, Redeployment, which, speaking of, can be so many combos for you. Naturally, the cards you search off Redeployment, they do pair with each other, meaning their effects can play off of each other. They can synergize. They basically eat at the same table. It's really strong. So Redeployment is like dang near full combo every time. We play some gas staples. We play 3 desires, 3 trade-ins. Trade-in helps because also this deck has some good cards that can play out of the graveyard. And also at the same time, just being able to draw 2 could potentially get you into Redeployment or Recycler. You know, because it's draw 2, like there's a huge possibility that you could just draw the 2 cards that you would search off Redeployment anyways. Trade-in's really, really nice. Good way to bait Ash if you already have full combo in your hand. This is like your Called by the Grave. Speaking of, we play 3 Called by the Graves. You can bait Nibiru with Recycler. You might as well be able to play through every other hand trap. Imperm, to an extent, could hurt if your hand is terrible. Like, if you normal summon Gear Frame and you need his search and they imperm, that could kill your combo. But other than that, you should not be losing to 1 impermanence, like, ever. You should not. If you're losing to an impermanence, then maybe your hand was just terrible. We have 1 Reborn. And this is a really, really nice one-up spell you should try, is Defense Perimeter. Most lists don't really play it. It's not necessarily like a popular choice. It has a cool soft locked where you have a level 7 or higher. Basically, your level 6 or lowers can't be targeted by anything, by like attacks or card effects. But the other cool thing is the best effect, which is the main reason why I play it, is whenever you're popping your cards, doing your standard combos off of Radiator or off of Aerator or Citadel, you get to add machines from your grave to your hand. It's once per turn for the effect. I wish it wasn't. But the card just allows you to just rebuild your tempo, regenerate your hand because you burn through your hand sometimes because you're discarding to summon your cards. You're special summoning from the hand. You know, you could spam, but this card gives you basically tempo modifiers where you can be in a grind game situation where all you really need is just a Machina. Because you could have Citadel engraved, you could have Megaform in hand engraved, you could have Fortress engraved, you could have a grave setup, but you need a Machina just to trigger everything off. So this could just add it for you to be able to pitch that Fortress crash into something, affect the Fortress pop, bring out Megaform, bring out Citadel. All your stuff comes back out the grave because it's just like 1. You know, it just really helps you so that you're not relying on your top deck alone if you're in that situation. So Perimeter is a really good one to keep you in the grind, and this deck can grind. We have 2 copies of Overdrive. Even with Desires, I still think it's correct to play 2. It's not about like vanishing 1 and not having it. This card's just so good, you guys. You definitely want to play multiples. And its effect to recycle is actually really, really good. So that's going to be it for the deck. It's 42 cards. You do not have to play exactly 40, in my opinion. I feel that like playing exactly 40, it could help you out. But at the same time, there's no law that definitively says you have to play 40 cards in your deck to play Yu-Gi-Oh! For your extra deck, we have 1 Ahashima. Card is so nice, you guys. Now, Citadel takes care of monsters, and Appaloosa does as well. So does True King of all Chlamydia. So you want to have back row covered. So you could summon this card with a card like, you know, for example, Tornado Dragon, which we do play. And that can get you multiple disruptions on back row. It's obviously an extender on summon, which allows you to make the card that normally triggers this. Also, at the same time, playing through interruptions, if you just have the only thing that's left on your field is like a random card in hand that pairs with something in your grave, and just 2 random monsters on your field, and they're like, oh, Ash, Imperm. Ash and Imperm don't remove the threats from the field, so even if their effects are negated, you could just link them off into Hashima, effect, special, even if it's Metal Cruncher in hand and Metal Cruncher in grave, then you can make True King of all Chlamydia, and that's just incredible, you guys. So Hashima's a really nice extender, really nice recovery card, help you to play through interruptions. Make sure that you can still end on a play if your opponent's just hand trapping you to just Oblivion. We have 1 copy of Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget is a really nice card too. To an extent, it can be a somewhat weaker extender. All it's really just going to do is just allow you to basically special from your hand. It's not as incredible as Hashima because that's going to get you from hand and from grave. But at the same time, it's nice for what it's worth, and you don't need to have the same level monsters to make the Platinum Gadget. You can't link off with it the turn it's link summon though. So you want to just kind of like make sure that that's the play that you really are willing to commit to. IP Masquerena, and this is what's supposed to be Scrap Wyvern. My Great Fly is Scrap Wyvern. The link 2 for Scraps, really, really good card. This is a card you don't have to play, but Curios could actually be really nice in this deck. Just being able to utilize the Scrap combo to go into the Curios. That's another thing. Scrap Wyvern's a one-card Curios. I mean, not Scrap Wyvern, but Scrap Recycler is a one-card Curios. You do want certain cards in your grave, and also at the same time, the mill factor is really nice for you. When it dies, you can add back cards like Redeployment. You can add your Trap back. You know, you can add even your Recycler back. You know, it's just the card has such utility. It's actually really, really nice, you guys. Curios is a great card. Even going second, you know, like if you activated a card like, you know, some crazy spell or trap that you want to get back, you can make this card, crash it, and then get that card back. If it's like a Call by the Grave, for example, you know, anything you want, it adds any card. And then we have one Abomination so that you can still play into back rows. So this card plus like cards like Tornado Dragon and Citadel to actually trigger its effect can just nuke back rows. It's just really, really strong. Just being able to get a pop on the effect, you know, and a pop on in phase plus the pop off Tornado. That's 3 back rows cleared. Oop! I flicked the card, you guys. I straight up flicked my Abomination. My bad. But yeah, that's 3 cards cleared right there. If you're playing like Geist or you know, some sort of control back row deck. Appaloosa, just a really, really strong card for what it's worth. It's nice that you can use it. The fear of Appaloosa would make your opponent preemptively Nibiru if they know what they're doing, because obviously they see the materials on board. That's the nice thing about Scrap Recycler, is that it gets you the materials for Appaloosa by itself. Hey, babe. Oh, you got me a Slurpee? Oh, you wasn't thinking about me. Oh, okay. All right.
I already texted you.
One True King of all Chlamydia card's really nice. You want to share with me, Aria? You gonna share your Slurpee? Oh, thank you, Fanny Girl. And then 1 copy of Draglubion. This card, I don't have the best targets for it. So basically, the Prime Photon, pretend this is Numeron Dragon, has a similar effect. You really don't want to use it outside of its own deck, though. But basically, well, I won't say you don't want to, but it's better in its own deck because it has an effect where it actually has to have Photon Dragon as a material. But basically, consider this as Numeron Dragon. I just don't have it. And then this also could be your Heart Earth package. It's just the thing is, the only target that I actually have that's good for this deck is the Titanic Galaxy. The rest of these are debatable, but I ain't gonna lie, the Tachyon package is actually really, really strong, you guys. If you read this card right here, it's good. It's a really good card. And Draglubion, you know, as long as he lives, there's so much that you can do with this card. It's good. Hey, babe. I love you. And then finally, for the last XYZ, is Tornado Dragon and Dweller. Dweller, you just blind Dweller this format. Dweller can even shut down any Needle Fiber eccentric decks just because Jet Synchron can't reborn himself in the grave because he activates in grave. So Dweller, aw, he missed his sissy. You saw him, he said sissy.
Not mommy, sissy.
I know he missed his sissy. He said sissy. Aw. And yeah, and then Tornado, just for back row decks. You normally can have combo in a pinch. If you go first, don't get interrupted. You can have like a Raigeki plus True King of all Chlamydia. Hey, King, what's wrong? Oh, nothing wrong? Hi, Fanny Man. Mwah. Get that kiss. Mwah.
Alright, you guys go check.
Alright, but yeah, that pretty much sums up the extra deck, you guys. I'm going to show you guys a couple combos. Maybe like just 1 or 2. First combo, Redeployment. Now, Redeployment can do multiple things, so I'm just going to show you guys what Redeployment can do. The card's really, really nice. So you could activate Redeployment, and what you can do is search Irradiator, and you could search Megaform. And now these combos aren't mine that I created myself. These are already pretty much known if you just research online. So I definitely am not going to take credit from the people who came up with these combos. So we're going to go ahead and activate Irradiator. Pitch. You're basically going to pitch your Megaform, summon Irradiator, activate Irradiator, target his self. You're going to destroy him, and what you're going to do is you're going to reborn your Megaform.
So
You're going to, Oh, the food. Oh yeah, my bad, you guys. I kind of hold on. Let me just take that back a step. No, you're good, babe. You're good. So go ahead and make this basically a Megaform and a Metal Cruncher. My bad, you guys. But yeah, babe, the greens are in the pot. That right there. I put your food in the microwave already, actually. But the greens, you could put them in that bowl because there's no greens in there. But okay, so my bad. You're gonna use Redeployment. You're actually gonna search Metal Crunch and Megaform, or you could just go Metal Crunch into Irradiator because it's a little bit easier to pull it off that way. So basically, you'll just normal summon your Metal Crunch, use its effect, and you'll basically reveal the 3 Irradiators to add it. Or, you know, if you're playing 3 Megaforms, reveal that. Either way, you're going to get to it. So basically, reveal 3 irradiators, add it to your hand. And at that point, so the cards that you would search off redeployment will be Megaform and the Metal Cruncher, which is a Eternity Code, but basically it's out. So then the next thing that you're going to do is reveal a Radiator, pitch the Megaform, summon it, use this effect to pop itself, summon Megaform, and then you're going to tribute Megaform to special summon out another copy of Metal Cruncher. Wherever that boy is. And then you have 2 level 9s on field, so you're just going to go ahead and make your true King of all Chlamydia there. Which is really, really cool, you guys, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and do some math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Alright. So the next combo is going to be redeployment again. What'd you say, my love? So it's going to be redeployment, except just discarding your Citadel. So you're going to go ahead and activate redeployment, pitch Citadel. Now you can add any 2 Machina cards that you want with different names, but I'm still just going to kind of go pretty standard to an extent. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for Aerator. And I'm going to go Irradiator. So this combo is just going to be able to... There's so many things you could do with redeployment. This one's just going to allow you to just build your tempo up. So if you have a weak hand and the only good cards are redeployment plus like Citadel, and you just have random cards that just don't really work for you for some reason, then you can use this to just keep building up your resources so that you can live for a turn and have ample cards to play. So what you could do is basically go Irradiator, pitch the Aerator, use this effect to destroy itself, bring back the Aerator. Obviously you're going to bring out the Citadel, and then you could use Aerator on your opponent's turn to destroy itself. And then you could go ahead and summon out Machina Fortress, Possess Storage. You know, you could summon out Metal Cruncher. Like, the options are there. Like, even if you're like, okay, I know the Raigeki is good enough, then you would want to go for like Metal Cruncher or Megaform because they give you follow-ups most definitely. Well, I'm sorry, not Metal Crunch because of his level. You have to make sure, be careful with the levels. So Megaform because he gives you Metal Crunch, or even Possess Storage, or also you could summon out Fortress because, you know, if your opponent doesn't take care of Fortress correctly, he will dispatch a card with him normally. So he just takes cards down with them. You see it, my love? Like, I wrapped it with bacon. I put the crispy onions on it and everything. Like, it took me hours to cook that for you, babe. That's why I called you all excited.
What do you dip this with?
I would just pour in the green juice a little bit on it because, you know, I baked it so it didn't come out super juicy. So you could even summon Possess Storage. Like I said, that really just lets you set up on your turn. So another cool thing you could do, let's get off redeployment in a sec. And there's multiple things you could do. Those are not the only 2 things you could do with redeployment. You could even just, if your hand's nice enough, you would just go redeployment to search out Possess Storage and Irradiator. So for example, if a card in your hand was like Gear Frame, no, you're good, my love. So if you had Gear Frame, you could just the Gear Frame, search the Citadel, and you could like pitch it with the redeployment to search these, or if you already hard drew them. And at that point, you could just go like Irradiator, pitch Possessed, you know, effect to Reborn Possess. And then that's going to also bring this guy out, and then Possess can bring out the Radiator. And then you could just overlay these for a Dweller. You have a Dweller plus a Raigeki. You know, just really, really cool things you could do. You could even summon, you know, like I said, True King of all Chlamydia. Scrap Recycler is like the full scrap play right there. So if you open Scrap Recycler plus redeployment, that could be really, really, really nice for you. Like, that can be a crazy board. You know, so many things you could do. Yeah, ultimately the deck is pretty flexible. You don't have to play it one specific way. For the most part, I just think that you should at least play Metal Cruncher because that card is super crazy. And maybe try Perimeter because the card's actually really, really nice. It can help you out in the long run. And it will definitely reward you to play it. It's a nice one-up. It's not really dead. If it's dead, then your hand's dead. Because if you can't destroy one of your machines, then you are not triggering the good effects of your Machinas. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, once you have your grave set up, like once you have Citadel, your praying bit, and once you have Megaform, and my wife's praying, once you have Megaform, once you have Citadel, once you have like cards like Fortress in your graveyard, you know, even if you have the trap in your graveyard, you can play from your grave, which is really, really cool with this deck, something that you can do. You have Reborn cards to just special summon them from the grave, but also these cards can summon themselves. So like if you have a grave set up like this, That's what I was talking about with parameter, how it could really help you in the grind. Because even if you're not top decking good, you could just use parameter, for example, to just add like a gear frame, like normally trying to make a play. But no matter what, you could basically, even if it's not gear frame, you could just use the gear frame to just search out, for example, some random level 8.
Yeah, the
pitch
greens
it.
are bomb.
The greens are bomb. I did it. Yay! You could pitch a level 8 to summon out Fortress, and you could basically just swing Fortress, crash him, you know, because if he's destroyed by battle, he actually gets an effect. And then you could bring out Mega Form and also Citadel at the same time. So like, consider it this way. You could have no cards in hand. You could top deck a Call by the Grave, but this can just add a random Machina from your graveyard. And you'll have these cards in your grave, so you'll just be like, bam, you know, effect, just grab something, get my Fortress back out. Fortress effect, you know, not Fortress effect, but just Fortress crash. You know, try to take a card with me, chain block a couple times, get these out, because Megaform triggers when like Fortress just hits the grave. It's just really nice how you can just bring back your cards. Like that for me, that's like a tempo swing. You know, that can really just change the game for you. Just being able to do that randomly out of nowhere. That's how this deck can just OTK you out of nowhere. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna say a quick little prayer. I want to see your face when you taste that chicken.
I already did.
It's bomb? Don't play with me. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth, just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Father, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Amen. All right, you guys. Deuces is wild, yo.
It's just